Down in the way and Bo Road will both away well. Moving it slowly to the front. Then Black Charles will shake you around the dip. 5 out of 5 for this Scotty Lassie. He's running out on his line there, mate. He can still get some. Here on the fence under pressure, Sir Ford cruises up. Into the now they go up towards the 1,000 top that on the side. On the turn to Shiny Base, running up on the
but it is really warming up. It's quite cool this morning, and the track, of course, with this sort of weather, as it has been for the last couple of days, will be fast. I tell you what, if you're looking for fun and excitement anywhere in Australia, come to Melbourne, jump on a plane, because this is where it's happening all of this week. And there's a man out there who'll bring you all of the horse races along with his team of experts. The first one here today is the 1,000-metre race for the kids, for the 2-year-olds, and it's a very good afternoon to Peter Donegan.
Thank you, Tim. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone, wherever you may be watching around Australia, and welcome to this magnificent scene in the mounting yard here at Flemington for the opening of the VRC Spring Carnival. Champagne racing today. It's a day full of highlights. The Derby is just one. And let's take a look at the plan for the first event on the card as they go up to the stalls now for the Well, joining me now in the mounting yard, as he has done over the past couple of years, is Channel 10's racing expert Graham Kelly. Graham, as I say, good afternoon to you. We never fail to marvel at this scene, and fabulous Flemington looks as good as I've ever seen it.
No, it's coming up for an excellent day's racing, and of course going to have a big influence on the outcome of Tuesday's Melbourne Cup.
Well, they're on their way to the stalls for the first, Graham, and Vertingly is the one that I thought. What did you think?
I think Vertingly should win, but there are good tips in the race, so it's going to be more interesting than perhaps the odds suggest.
So both Graham and myself settling on Vertingly here in the first event as they go up to the stalls. There are the tips. Let's hope we can both kick off the carnival on a winning note. We've got 31 races after this, so it'll be nice to have some money in the pocket. And speaking of money in the pocket, let's go up to the commentary box now. The gentleman who will be calling all the races throughout the carnival is going to take us through just exactly what tote punters have thought of this first event, the Maribyrnong Plate, as I go upstairs and say a very good afternoon to Dan Malicki.
Good afternoon, Peter Donegan. Race 1 on the biggest racing week in Australia is the Maribyrnong Plate. Over 1,000 metres, Vertingly's at 135 and 70 cents, and that's for a 50-cent investment for the win and for the place. King Marauding 285 and 85, Catalan 1545, Waterbridge $6.25, New Maze $9.70, Ark Raj $9.40, Night Templar $33.60, Catchfire $2.65, Rhythm number 9 $8.05, Scratch 10 11 as watch at $3.20. There's $212,000 in the win pool. I was just watching Catalan, Peter, going up to the starting stalls. Shane Dye was just cantering up there, and the horse cannon into the running rail, but I think he's all right.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that one, Dan, and there is Catalan behind the stalls for the first event. Down in the betting ring today is another member of the Channel 10 team, Peter Crackers Keenan. Crackers, I'd imagine there's a tremendous amount of atmosphere down there.
There certainly is. It's the first start of Spring Carnival and they've turned up with their pocketfuls. You reckon we're going bad in this state, but they've got money today and they want 4. These are tote odds, Peter, but Verdingly's what they want. They like King Marauding to have a bit of a chance, and the fillies down the bottom Catch Fire and Watch. They're going to give Watch a bit of a chance again, but fair bit of money about those. You can even get about the same odds as these tote odds with the boys with the satchels. They're very, very confident. There's a lot of money from New Zealand turned up to have a bet, but they want the toppy in this. They reckon the punters here reckon he's a top horse. David Hayes has turned him out pretty well and should get the money, and the money says that too.
Righto, Crackers, we'll check with you right throughout the carnival on what's happening in the betting ring. And now it's time to look at the runners as they prepare for the start of the opening race, the Maribyrnong Plate. And Verdingly number 1, Graham.
Won the Maribyrnong trial here in very good style at his only start. It was slowly away, struck trouble in running, but finished very well to win. And I think Verdingly can win again.
Number 2 is King Marauding. Runner-up to Verdingly at its first start, then came out at Caulfield and won most impressively. On the weights, it can't beat Verdingly home if there is any improvement, but I feel as though there might be a bit of improvement for King Marauding. I feel it'll stretch the favourite, but I think Verdingly on the day might prove too good.
Number 4, Waterbridge with Stephen King in the saddles, another good chance in the race, having won 2 races at Albury. He's been brought down for this, stepping up in class, but he has to be respected. Number 6, Arc Raj, is one I give a good each-way chance to in the race. Has only had the 1 start. It finished 4th at Caulfield, but was checked about 200 metres after the start. Gave the leader about 10 coming around the turn and ran on to finish 4 lengths from the winner. I think it's a good each-way chance. Number 8, Catch Fire with Mick Dittman in the saddle, also comes in as a very good chance in the race. She scored a brilliant win in the Debutante Stakes at Caulfield, running fast time. She'll go well down the straight and she must be respected.
Number 9 is Rhythm, a New Zealander, won its first start over in the Shaky Isles and then came over and ran 3rd at its next appearance. Probably just find this a little bit too tough, but she's got a rough place home.
And there's quite a tip about for number 11, Watch with Jim Cassidy in the saddle. Won the prestigious Jim Crack Stakes at Randwick, then only 7th at Moonee Valley, but she didn't handle the track on that occasion and she's expected to improve today.
So there are the thoughts on the first event, and both Graham Kelly and myself have selected the top 1 Verdingly as they prepare to move up. Well, another regular member of the team is with us down here in the mounting yard on Derby Day, as he will be on Cup Day, Oaks Day and Celebrity Day. I speak of John Rothfield, alias Dr. Turf. Docky, welcome.
Thank you, Pete. It's a recession buster derby today. We're all going to blast out of trouble, I reckon.
Well, are you going to blast out on the first event? Are you going to open on a winning note?
I hope so, Pete. 32 races. Let's start here with 1, 2 and 11. The only 3 chances here for mine, Pete. Verdingly jumped the crossing here. Still a very strong win. I thought he had a terrific chance. King Marauding, I thought he had a little bit of improvement in him, Pete. And number 11, Watch, apparently worked brilliantly here during the week. Graham Beggar's very confident. She might test the 2 colts. I've got Verdingly on top, though, to beat 2 and 11.
Well, the weather is perfect. Let's hope the punting is perfect today. Good luck, Doc. Dr. Turf joining us in the mounting yard. Well, there's the scene up behind the stalls as these babies, 10 of them, prepare to move in to start off the 1991 VRC Spring Carnival. All around us, a sea of faces around the mounting yard, all eyes trained down on the starting point. And one pair of binoculars that are trained down on the starting point is that belonging to Dan Malicki. And up there with him, a gentleman who's only recently retired from the saddle and has joined the Channel 10 commentary team, Gary Willits, with special comments. And gentlemen, what a scene it is.
Certainly is. It is fabulous Derby Day. It certainly gets the nerves pumping as the horses go into the gates for the first event, the Maribyrnong Plate. We noticed the number 11 Watch is out of a mare called Peeping. Peeping actually won this race in 1977, and the jockey that rode that filly to win that day is Gary Willits. How are you, Gary?
Very well, thanks, Dan.
This filly, Watch, does she take after Mum?
Well, I think so, and it looks like she's got plenty of speed too, and that's how Peeping used to race. And I think, it could run very well, but I'll stick with number 1 and number 2.
Yeah, they're very smart, the colts. They often have the edge over the fillies in races like this, Gary.
They do. And, it's always a very quick races.
Now, we might just have a quick check down into the betting ring with Crackers Keenan.
Yes, we're just down here. Verdingly's still the rage, Dan and King Marauding and the 2 fillies, but Watches are still a bit of a chance, and Catch Fire, but there's a lot of money for the toppy, and that's about it.
Thanks, Crackers. On the Victorian tote, $1.20 for 50 cents, number 1 Verdingly, and he is the favourite. $2.75 for King Marauding, $7.05 for number 4 Waterbridge, Number 8, Catchfire, $2.75. Rhythms at $7.15, one of 2 Kiwi horses in the race, the other being Catalan. And number 11, Watch, is at $3.55. And already the win pool is $355,000. Place pool $215,000 for this first event, the Maribyrnong Plate. Waterbridge is about to go into line. He's unbeaten, trained by Richard Freer up at Corrowa. 2 starts at Albury for 2 very impressive wins. Combined totals of 9.5 lengths. Victories at both venues were at Albury. Now the field just about set to go. There's only 1 or 2 to move into the line. One of them is King Marauding, which is by Golden Slipper winner Marauding out of Wear the Crown, trained by Jim Marconi, who won this race with Rancho Ruler in 1986. Very smart horse, King Marauding, and he's about to go into the line. And the field are almost set to go for the first event on Melbourne Cup Week. First race on Derby Day, the Maribyrnong Plate. Run over 1,000 metres, and the field will soon be released down the famous Flemington Straight. Now they're all set to go. Lights on, and they're off and racing. Verdingly didn't jump away all that flash. King Marauding got the best of the start with a filly Catchfire, and she immediately crosses over to the rails and leads from King Marauding, and Watch going up on the outside to third. Then Catalan. Verdingly was out deeper. Behind those was Rhythm, followed by Night Templar, then Waterbridge and New Maze, and Ark Raj was wide. Going over the crossing, 700 metres to go. Catchfire up along the inside just in front of King Marauding. Going to third, the favourite Verdingly. A length away was Rhythm. Watch over on the inside. Ark Raj was deeper out. Then New Maze and Waterbridge, a couple of lengths to Catalan, and Night Templar back to the tail. 400 metres left to go. King Marauding in front. Verdingly under hard running for Michael Clark. Goes up on the outside, then Rhythm. Behind them, Watch on the inside. Battling on was Catchfire. 250 metres to go, and the favourite Verdingly drew up on the outside to hit the front. Oh, Watch nearly fell over behind them. 200 metres to go. Verdingly kicked away. He looked to have it 1 length and a half in front. Catchfire's coming again on the inside. Then King Marauding with the first favourite zone. Verdingly wins the Maribyrnong Plate by a length. Second Catchfire, third King Marauding. Rhythm ran on well for fourth. Close up behind those was Watch. Nearly fell over at the 250 metre mark, and then New Maze and Ark Raj, Waterbridge. Night Templar, and back of the tail of the field was Catalan. Winner of race number 1, Verdingly, has caused no surprises by scoring. But poor old Watch, Gary Willits.
Oh yes, I think Jim Cassidy had a bit of luck there that the horse stood up. He was unlucky he got interfered with, but he looked like he was travelling very well, and he was just going to go between Verdingly and King Marauding, and there was definitely a little bit of a shift in, and unfortunately Jimmy's caught the heels of I think it would be King Marauding, and nearly come down.
$1.20 and 60 for Verdingly, 90 cents for Catchfire, 80 cents for King Marauding. Good run, Catchfire. She battled on well because she fought off King Marauding inside the last 300, but poor old Watch, you could see her get checked, and then she's just lost her footing, and gee, she was going to come down. It was similar to Shaftesbury Avenue last week.
It was, yes. He was very lucky, Jimmy. It's a terrible feeling when you, if your front legs just touch those horse and front's back legs, down you go, and he's done a good job to retain his seat in the saddle there. Here it is coming up now.
Yeah, just inside the 250 metre point, Gary, and you can see the filly. She's in the white cap, 4th placing. There's no room here, and bang.
Oh, yes, like he's a very lucky boy, Jimmy.
Very lucky. Obviously, her winning chances have long gone. Apart from that, she could have been in the finish. I don't know if she would have been Verdingly, but for those people who've taken the Quinellas would be thinking themselves very unlucky.
Yes, you'll notice Verdingly, if we get a head-on shot of that later on, you'll notice he was laying in a little bit at that time. Whether he's just taken the other horse in a bit, I'm not sure, but well, here it is coming up now.
You can see it on the fence in the white cap, just behind Catchfire, which is in the red cap. You can see Watch just behind them. Yeah. Now she shifts out a little bit.
I think it's just before this, they just have to go back a bit before this, Dan.
It was just there. She's well out of it at that point.
But you can notice definitely Michael Clark, he's, you can see Verdingly's head on the side.
Yeah.
He's having to bring the horse out, and that's when they're laying in with that, you often get in a bit of trouble.
Certainly, he's a good horse. This day last year belonged to David Hayes. He won 6 of the 8 races on Derby Day. And who knows, it could happen again, Peter Donegan, because he's got 1 out of 1.
Well, that's right, Dan. David, a feeling of deja vu. Razor Rhythm won the first race of the Carnival last year. Must be nice to be back.
Yeah, fantastic. It's great to be back at Flemington.
Well, you would have had a few worries in the run, though, especially at the start there.
Oh, it was, yes. I like, you know, you can't see it live when I watch the replay, but I believe the gate flung back in his face. and he hit his head as he went out the gates and gave them a big start, and he might be a top colt in the making, I think.
Yeah, well, that being the case, it was an outstanding effort, and he still raced a bit greenly over the last 300 too.
Yes, he did. He laid in a little bit under pressure by the looks, but you know, he had to make up so much ground in the middle stages. His run probably just ended at the end, but he's a very good horse because he's got the ability to quicken.
Will you put him away now and save him for the autumn?
Oh, most definitely. He's eligible for the Magic Million in Queensland. We'll have to have a serious look at that because it's a restricted $1 million race, but we'll look forward to the autumn racing with him.
I have the feeling it won't be the last time we see you over the carnival. Well done.
I hope you're right.
David Hayes, the winning trainer in the first event, vertingly successful. A great start to the carnival. Lots more action, including the local dividends to come from Flemington after this break.
In the mounting yard, tell you more about it.
Yes, Tim, well, there are going to be 3 protests here. It's going to be second against first, that's Catch Fire against Vertingly. Also third against first, King Marauding against Vertingly. And the other protest will be number 11, Watch, against King Marauding.
Wow.
So you've got second against first, third against first, and fifth against third. And you can see Jimmy Cassidy in there talking at the moment.
Yeah,
That's
not
Norman.
happy. Yeah.
No.
Doesn't look happy at all.
Norman Weymouth is on the scales at the moment. Of course, Jimmy Cassidy was aboard Watch. It was a miracle that horse stayed on its feet at about the 200-metre mark. But it was like a succession of jockeys getting up and forming a queue to protest here. You see the rider of the 4th horse going up there now, and that is Rhythm, Brian Hibbard. And then Jimmy will officially notify Pat Lawler of the protest as he gets on the scales here. And it will be 5th against 3rd, or that's what he said before. So we'll just have to confirm that.
All right.
But that's going to take some little time, I think, Tim, to sort this out. And we're going to have to come out with a slide rule and work out just exactly what will happen.
Well, yes, as I say, a little bit of controversy. I mean, it was run as 2-year-old races are usually run in a bit of a free-for-all fashion, wasn't it, Pete?
Yeah, well, of course, as we said before, those horses are very green.
Yeah. And
whether or not Vertingly actually contributed to that interference is up to the stewards to decide now. But it really was a free-for-all there at the 200-metre mark. And, well, Jimmy Cassidy, I think, will be counting his lucky stars because, of course, that's the first of 32 races. This is where the jockeys earn all their money over the carnival, the big money. And he could very well have been down on his nose, and I think that's one of the reasons that Jimmy is not all that happy. No. But anyway, so just recapping the protests, second against first, third against first, and 5th against 3rd. Dan Malicki, you're up there.
There's one
Heaven knows what's going to go on now.
There's one more to add to the list, Peter Donegan. The rider of Watch, Jim Cassidy, has protested against the 3rd horse, which is King Marauding, and also against Vertingly. So there's 4 protests on the first race.
Well, that's incredible.
We might just have to run it again, I think, to save the confusion.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to go on here. We're obviously going to have to sit down and work that out as to what will happen if some of the protests are upheld and some dismissed. But I don't know, Dan, that I can ever remember having 4 protests on one race.
I got 3 last week. There was 3 in the Moonee Valley Cup, but 4 I can never remember. But I don't know. We'll wait and see. This might take some time, I think. Graham Kelly.
Yeah, well, Graham, you've been around longer than Dan and I, with all due respect. Can you remember 4 on one race?
No, I certainly can't. And one of the interesting points is that Vertingly could finish up running 5th in the race. If all the protests happen to be upheld, he'd be relegated to 5th place. So, but I don't think that will happen, but it is a possibility.
Of course, the secret of protests is that horses are not promoted, they are relegated.
That's correct, yes.
So, for argument's sake, if you say all the protests are upheld, Vertingly will finish in 5th place, so it could go from 1st to 5th.
That's right, yeah.
So if you're sitting at home at the moment and you're on pretty good terms with yourself, and there'll be a fair bit of time consumed in this, and Docky, you and I have been sitting down here just trying to work out what does happen. Now, of course, some of the protests may be upheld, some may be dismissed, but what order did we come up with here?
I don't know, Pete. I've just got a headache. I can't work it out. I've got no idea, to be perfectly honest. I'm pretty sure that the horse I've backed, Watch, can't win. But she was very unlucky, nevertheless. She was, looks like she was going to charge through on the inside then. I don't really know what happened.
You may be wondering why we're not showing you any replays at the moment, and it is against the rules of racing once there is a protest on to show any replays. But as soon as the protest results are upheld, and when we have time, we'll have a look at that incident because it's going to make very spectacular action from the head-on shot. Now, what I've come up with is this. Now, I may be wrong, but
let's hear it, Pythagoras.
We've come up with second winning the race. This is if all the protests are upheld. we've come up with second winning the race, the fourth horse, which at the moment is Rhythm, being placed second.
Yeah.
Then we've got the fifth horse running third, which is Watch. So King Marauding, Catchfire would become the winner. Then we've got the third horse, King Marauding, running fourth. And we've got Verdingly going from first to fifth.
Yeah.
Now, as I
Seems a bit
say,
stiff, doesn't it?
take that at your own risk, because we've been doing permutations here that would make a mathematics teacher very proud. But as I say, well, that is conditional on all the protests being upheld, but some may be upheld, some may be dismissed. If all of them are dismissed, then we've got no problems.
No, it'll just stay the way it is. It'll suit me. I've done my do. I don't really care.
All right, well, that's the second race on the card coming up at goodness knows what time, Tim, but, well, I don't know. Can you shed any light on this?
No, I certainly can't, but what I wanted to ask you two was, because it's a 2-year-old race and they are green, or a lot of them are green, and they certainly looked at coming down the straight, the stewards take that into account, obviously.
Well, they do have to look at it on its merits. I don't think that they really make any difference between a 2-year-old race or whether it's a 3 or 4-year-old race. It's just simply a race from the start to the finish.
That's right, and whatever happened, happened. And I've got no idea. Looking at it, certainly from over here, you just couldn't tell. That she was badly crowded, Watch, but whose fault it was might have been Watch's fault. We just don't know.
Yeah, well, we're just, as I say, going to have to wait and see when we have a look at the replay of that after the running of race 1. And, well, Tim, we'll keep you up to date as soon as anything happens. And we're now, what, about 13 minutes away from the scheduled starting time of race 2. And there's, well, the horses are coming in, but I think they could be tired by the time they get to the start here.
It's a long walk. Yeah, thanks, fellas. Well, not much we can do, folks, except wait for that decision. Again, a 4-way protest on race 1, the Maribyrnong Plate here at the Spring Racing Carnival from Flemington, which is looking terrific. And as I say, it's early in the day, and everyone doesn't seem to be too concerned about it. They're all enjoying themselves out there on the lawn. And this is, this week, the culmination of 29 days of fun and fashion and feasting and festivity, and it just gets bigger and grows every year. And as I said to you, if you're anywhere else in Australia and you're thinking about a bit of fun and excitement this week, jump on a plane and come down here and stay in one of the beautiful hotels in Melbourne, and you'll enjoy yourself. It's just a great week, I can tell you. All right, the protest. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Flemington in Melbourne for the Spring Racing Carnival. And I should mention that little story you saw on Tulloch just before our commercial break come to us compliments of Graham McNeice at Sky Channel, and Graham spent a lot of time and a lot of effort putting that together, and you can actually purchase that on video, and it's a super story. He was a super racehorse, that Tulloch, and as Graham, it still brings tears to his eyes every time he talks about it. Well, now, you don't have to be a successful trainer to win $1 million. One of the items being you can win on the Melbourne Cup today is the drawing of horses in the Tats Melbourne Cup sweep. Now, Tattersalls have been running this lottery for 108 years now, and for the first prize this year, if you're lucky enough to draw the Melbourne Cup winner, will be $1 million. Now, there are over 11,000 prizes in total, and the tickets are $15 each. And if you haven't got your ticket yet, and you can't buy one locally, here's the number to ring. So, in other words, you can get one with the toll-free number, 008 801 089, 008 801 089. And around 2:15 on Cup Day, we'll tell you which lucky 24 tickets have drawn a horse in the Melbourne Cup and what those horses are. Then all you have to do is watch the Melbourne Cup right here on Channel 10, and you could pick up $1 million. And the best of luck to you. Now, you can no doubt see this behind me, ladies and gentlemen. There's a very serious fire. We'll get our newsroom onto it and tell you exactly what's happening there. We believe it's in a container terminal. And the area of Melbourne that it is behind us there is, I guess, towards Footscray, in that general direction. But, gee, it looks bad, doesn't it? So that's going on behind us, and we'll get our newsroom onto it and tell you exactly what's going on. Now, just updating you, there's been a 4-way protest on race 1, the Maribyrnong Plate, and nothing happened with that as yet. But I guess we can at least talk about race 2. I don't think we're going to see the running of it for a while. Here's Peter Donegan.
Yes, Tim, all candidates are in the mounting yard now, and this second event is the Carbine Club Stakes over 1,600 metres, and you can see they start on the far side of the course, and they only have a short run until they get on a continuous bend from about the 1,400 metres point, or a little bit inside that, to about the 450 metre mark. So outside barriers here are a distinct disadvantage at the 1,600 metre point. And as I said, candidates are in the mounting yard. The scratching is number 9, Soho Square. I've gone for Shaddad. It's going to be a good each way odds, Graham, and you like Lord of Jamaica.
Yes, racing in blinkers for the first time, and I think he's going to be quite hard to beat in the race.
Well, we might take a look at these runners now as we stand by for the protest results. Still no word on that. And leading off with the top weight here, not related. Well, he's a pretty smart horse, this one, by course broadcaster Greg Miles, is probably going to take in the vicinity of 5 minutes. So it'll be interesting, and we'll be able to hear what Greg does say as the announcement goes through. To second against first has been upheld, we believe. We're waiting on confirmation of that. And as far as the other placings are concerned, well, that means that if second against first has been upheld, that the winner of the race will be Catchfire.
Okay.
But we are just standing by for that. Brent Thompson's over there with a smile on his face, one of our visitors here to the carnival at the moment. And I think he's smiling because he doesn't have to work out what's going on here with the protest. Brent's another gentleman we might be talking to a little bit later in the day, one of our international visitors. So we believe the protest second against first has been upheld. We're still standing by for the announcement from course broadcaster Greg Miles. Everyone in the mounting yard is looking around. You can see a few owners of horses in the second race pretty well unconcerned. Now here we go.
The protest second against first has been upheld. The protest third against first has been dismissed. The protest fifth against first has been dismissed. And the protest fifth against third has been upheld.
All right, so there you have it. The amended placings: 8, 1, 9, 11 and 2. 8, 1, 9, 11 and 2. The winner is now Catchfire. There's David Hayes. Just 30 minutes ago, he was a happy man. Now he's had the race taken off him, and the winner is Catchfire, trained by Bob Hoisted, ridden by Mick Dittman. Second placing now, number 1, Vertingly, ridden by Michael Clark. Third, number 9, Rhythm, Brian Hibbard. Officially fourth is number 11, Watch, and officially fifth is number 2, King Marauding. So if you back King Marauding each way, you had some return before, now it's finished up running fifth and doesn't even earn prize money for its connections. How cruel racing can be sometimes.
Indeed. Yes,
so Tim, there it is, 8, 1 and 9. We've been waiting a while, but certainly a lot of people around the mounting yard, judging by the reaction, were waiting on tenterhooks for that. Now here is the replay. Let's have a look at this. That's Vertingly on the outside. It's moving up on the outside of King Marauding. Now over on the fence is Catchfire. Now watch in the white cap. Now here it goes. Jimmy Cassidy down on its nose. It was a miracle he stayed in the saddle. Now you can see the fourth horse, Rhythm, going into fourth placing on the outside. Vertingly racing very greenly, getting in on top of King Marauding and Catchfire. Rhythm's run to fourth. Watch did a terrific job to regain its balance and actually run fifth in the race. It probably should have dropped out and run behind Ark Raj there in about 7th spot. But Vertingly on the line, holding them, but obviously in the steward's opinion, the interference that was caused to Catchfire was enough to cost it the race. Here's the head on. Now watch this. This will be very interesting. That's Vertingly in the pink and blue colours and the blue cap, running in on top of King Marauding. Now watch the horse in the white cap. Down it goes. Jimmy Cassidy up on the horse's head for a moment. Did a remarkable job. Now look at the crowding that's going on there. Vertingly in on top of King Marauding, who in turn is going in on top of Catchfire. And this is one of those cases where it was probably relayed interference. King Marauding was actually the one interfering with Catchfire, but the interference was actually caused by Vertingly. So there you have it, just repeating that the numbers are 8, 1 and 9. Catchfire first, Vertingly second, Rhythm third. And I think, Dan, after all that has been sorted out, we might have some dividends now as they go to the stalls for race 2.
Dividends race 2 at Flemington, race 1 at Flemington, about to come up on the screen. As the horses go to the barrier stalls for the second race. All right, we won't have dividends for race number 1. Runners are on the track anyway for race number 2, the Carbine Club Stakes. Dividends first event. Catchfire $2.90 and 90 with correct weight. Vertingly 60 cents. Rhythm $1.80. Quinella $3.40. Trifecta $13.30. $2.90 and 90. 60. $1.80. $3.40. Quinella. Trifecta $13.30. Correct weight 8, 1 and 9.
So there they are on the way to the stalls now for race 2, the Carbine Club Stakes. And well, after all the protests have finally been sorted out, it's time.
A little bit scratchy, and investigation is a little foot sore, and we took the shoe off and decided that it wouldn't be in the best interest of anyone to run him today. We got till Tuesday. He'll work on Monday morning, and in the meantime he'll be treated over the weekend, and let's hope he'll be fit enough to do justice on Tuesday. If he's not, he won't run, but I feel he's fit enough to do so, and he worked brilliantly Tuesday and Thursday, and he'll work again on Monday morning, which is traditional routine work for us over this period, and if he comes through that all right, well, he's in.
If you could rate his chances at the moment, what would they be? 50-50 or better?
Well, he was 7-1 yesterday, should be 12-1 today.
All right, Bart, we'll let you go up and watch this race with Lord of Jamaica. They're almost all set for the Carbine Club Stakes. Let's go up to Dan Malicki.
The last one to move up will be the filly Not Related. She goes up on the outside gate, and the field is set to go now for the Carbine Club Stakes, one over 1,600 metres. Race number 2 at Flemington, after a very controversial start. On Derby Day, lights on now, and they're off and racing. And we've caught them fairly, although Rappin Boy was a little bit slow to begin and seemed to get squeezed up after the start. Pork was past, went back to the tail of the field with Noble Soldier and Brilliant Devil. One of the first out was the filly Not Related. She crosses over in front from an outside barrier. Alias Comberbash second, well protected, going up on the outside. Arabian Flyers going around them out 3 and 4 deep early with Charleston Party. Then came Lord of Jamaica. They're well bunched up. Charleston Party went to the front soon after the start, though. Alias Comberbash is 6th, and they were followed by Lorenzo. A length and a half, She Dad. A half a length away, Rappin Boy. 2 lengths to Spring Hill Lad. They were followed by Court's View and Mr. Tarantel, Noble Soldier. Brilliant Devil second last, and Pork was par getting up on the inside of the tail of the field, 10 lengths off the leader, Charleston Party. They have 800 metres to go. Charleston Party for Darren Gauchi, led by a length to Arabian Flyer. Lord of Jamaica went up third, the outside of Not Related. A length and a half to Alias Comberbash and well protected. Going around them, Flaming Jackson 3 deep, a length and a half to Rappin Boy also wide. Lorenzo next, and She Dead over on the inside as they come to the turn for Mr. Tarantel, and then Court's View, Brilliant Devil, and towards the tail, Spring Hill. As they come around the bend, 500 metres to go. Not Related again went through in the centre to hit the front. From Charleston Party, Alias Comberbash needs a run. Lord of Jamaica wide out from Arabian Fly. Here's Flaming Jackson and the favourite Rappin Boy. Sprouting wins, and Rappin Boy cruised up on the outside to hit the front end, kick away. 300 metres to go. Rappin Boy race 3 in front. Lorenzo getting to second, then Spring Hill Lad and Flaming Jackson. Rappin Boy though with 100 metres to travel, 2.5 in front. Lorenzo can't get close, and Rappin Boy's going to bolt the Carbine Club in. Rappin Boy 2.5 Lorenzo, a half to Spring Hill Lad, 2 away Flaming Jackson, then Alias Comberbash and She Dad. Well back Mr. Tarantel, Court's View. Pork was par, well back in the field with Lord of Jamaica, Not Related, well protected. Then came Charleston Party, Noble Soldier, Arabian Flyer, and Brilliant Devil was one of the last horses across the finishing post. Easy Victor, the winner of the second race, is number 3 Rappin Boy. $1.65 and 85 cents should be the should pays for 50 cents on the Victorian tote. $6 for second Lorenzo, $1.80 for third Spring Hill Lad, and Mick Dittman is now the winner of the first 2 races. Gary Willits.
Danny moved into the race just outside the 200 metres and went right on with the job. I thought Lorenzo might have had a good chance of running him down, but the winner was just far too strong.
Gee, he missed the start too. He was a little bit slow out and seemed to get squeezed up. Obviously plenty of time to get balanced, but gee, put it beyond out inside the 300.
Oh yeah, they've run a very good time, 1:35.6. That's a pretty smart time for 3-year-olds.
Only 1.6 outside of Vogue record. 3, 4 and 10 across the line. Lorenzo I thought was quite a good run because he was wide throughout most of the race, and Spring Hill Lad got a long way back. Can't make up excuses for the others. He looks a very good horse, Rappin Boy.
Well, that's right. Like, he's done it so easy. You can just see it here. He's just coasted away. Here's the start here coming up.
Here's the start. He drew out and about barrier number 9, Rappin Boy, white maroon band hoop sleeves. And you'll see from this angle, he was one of the slowest horses to begin. And you can see him outside the middle as we just crossed in the middle of the picture, but he was back about third last at this stage, and just after the start it got squeezed back. So his performance has been better than what it even appeared, and couldn't have really been more brilliant, you'd think. Here's inside about the 250 metre point. Mick's got to the front and it's all over.
Well, that's right. I like the run of Spring Hill Lad. I thought he got home very well. He's a well-bred horse too, Vice Regal out of Calcutta.
Well, Bill Mitchell trains this horse, Gary Willits. Rappin Boy. He's had a frustrating run this year with horses like Livingstone Lane, who's been running second in some big races, but he might take off a big run with this horse, Rappin Boy. Peter Donegan's with him in the mounting yard.
Yes, and Bill accepting the congratulations of all concerned. Bill, it has been a frustrating run for you, especially with Livingstone Lane, but that's made up for it.
Well, this is a very promising horse, and we hope that you know, he can have a bit more luck than Livingstone Lane and maybe replace him, because he has broken down. He's got a suspensory ligament problem, but we're very happy with this horse.
His form in New South Wales was first class, but did you think he'd measure up to the jump in class?
I thought he would. He's improved every time we've asked him to, and he's been winning.
In Victoria, number 3, Rappin Boy, $1.65 and 85 cents. 4 Loranto, $6 even for the place, and 10 Spring Hill Lad, $1.80. Quinella, $52.70, and the trifecta, $1,056.85, correct weight.
All right, there's the magnificent crowd here on Derby Day at Flemington, enjoying this day. I just went for a wander and did me money on Lord of Jamaica and the Rails bookies, and there's our winner, looking beautiful. The beautiful, beautiful rugs they supply the winners here. Winner of the Carbine Club Stakes, looking pretty relaxed about it. And Channel 10 and Goodyear hope you're enjoying our live and exclusive Spring Racing Carnival coverage.
And there is in the Bahamas, the filly walking around behind the gates. Dr. Turf is with me now. What's the last minute info, Docky?
Wait, I thought she was short enough on the tote in the Bahamas. The other two, Star Video and of course Amatilla, they've got the form on the board, and I'd stick with them.
So in the Bahamas, maybe just a little bit under the odds for Dr. Turf. There's Noble Lancer, as we mentioned. It choked down last start in the Caulfield Guineas, and they're using a special bit on it today. It'll be interesting to see how Razor Rhythm has behaved in the time she got up to the barrier and is walking around, as they move in pretty well. So time to go upstairs to Dan Malicki. You've been casting an eye over them, Dan. How was Razor Rhythm when she got down to the gates?
Yeah, she looked quite okay, Pete. You said that she was playing up in the yard. I've seen her do that before and win, so maybe it is a good sign, but it is fairly hot out here, especially for fillies. They can often play up a bit, but she went to the barriers quite okay. I don't think Michael Clark would have been in the happy mood, though, just the same after what happened in the first race with Verdingley. Now, this is the Hilton on the Park Stakes, down the straight 6, 1,200 metres, and the field just about set to go. Lights on, and they're off and racing now. Now, Shamrock Days was one of the first horses out from Cloudman. Getting out fairly quickly as well was Umatilla. Also, Razor Rhythm was up there, and Celerita out wider on the track, showing a good turn of foot. He wants to lead early. Infallible was just in behind those as they run up towards a 1,000-metre point. Shamrock Days in front. Noble Lancer going across with it. Celerita goes up wider. Just behind those would have been Razor Rhythm. Then came in the Bahamas. The favourites out wider on the track and about 6th placing. Cloudman inside it, followed by Umatilla, and then came Feeling. Star Video getting back 6 lengths off the speed. Righteous Lady was over on the inside, and then came Mac Ash, and Prince Boise's Infallible dropped back there. Running up with about 600 metres to go. Noble Lancer in front of Celerita, Shamrock Days. 2 lengths away, Umatilla, followed by Feeling. Cloudman behind them, and then on with it. Down the outside was in the Bahamas, and they were followed by Star Video. 400 metres left to go. Shamrock Days, Noble Lancer together. Coming up them, Umatilla the top weight, and 2 lengths away in the Bahamas, running on from Star Video. Umatilla went to the front, 200 to go, and kicked away. He's 2.5 in front in the Bahamas. Second, Star Video running on, and then Feeling and Shamrock Days. But Umatilla looked home with 100 to go, and he is. Umatilla's going to win easily by 2.5 lengths. Star Video's got second. Third placing in the Bahamas. Razor Rhythm worked home nicely out wide. They were followed in by Feeling. A couple of lengths away was on with it. Well back was Mac Ash, and then came Noble Lancer, Celerita, Righteous Lady. Prince Boise towards the tail, and with it would have been Cloudman. 1:8.6 they've run, so they've flown down the straight. 2:20 and 85 the expected should phase. These are approximates. That's for the winner, 1 Umatilla. 3-Star Video 95, and 14 in the Bahamas, also 95 cents. Track's on fire, Gary.
Oh, look, it's very fast at the moment, Dan, and Umatilla, well, he was very unlucky last start at the Valley. He's gone right away with it here, and you know, he's put a space in him, really.
He was always camped up on the speed, although he didn't share the lead, but he just exploded away from them inside the 200 metres point. In the Bahamas, I thought had every chance. Star Video was a good run, obviously going to appreciate more ground as we watch the horses go to the line here.
Yes, it's got home very good. You can just notice Umatilla, Darren Goucher, he's just sort of given him a flick with a stick now, and he's worked right away, and he's carried 58 kilos and ran in such a brilliant time. He's a very smart sprinter.
Certainly is. Umatilla winning the Hilton on the Park Stakes. This colt by Miss Walkie out of Dancing Show is trained here at Flemington by Tommy Hughes, and the winning trainer is talking to Peter Donegan.
Tommy, congratulations. Plenty of weight, but gee, won like a good horse.
Thanks, Peter. Well, he's a good horse. He's only been out of the money, I think 3 times out of 17 starts. I think that's 6 wins, 6 seconds and a couple of thirds.
Any excuses for him at Moonee Valley?
He's a dry track horse. Moonee Valley, the ground was hard and we had a few showers and it was greasy on top. And Darren, he said just forget your run. He said he was, the time he left the barrier, he was never comfortable and was reluctant to stretch out.
Well, today he looked as though he was going to be in a pocket for the first 600, but the Gats found plenty of room.
Yes, well, it was a good ride and a good win, so...
What do you do with him now?
Oh, we'll think about him. He's in here again Tuesday. So, we'll possibly accept, and if I'm happy with him, we'll run him again Tuesday.
Tommy, always nice to see you in the winner's circle. Well done.
Not often enough later, Peter, but it's nice to win.
Good on you, mate. Tommy, here's the winning trainer with you, Mattilla, here in the Hilton on the Park Stakes. And the official judges' placings 1, 3 and 4.
Correct weight is there, so there was a siren that went. I'm not sure if that would be regarding the late scratching of group decision. But correct weight is definitely there.
Yep, it's there now.
And
all right.
Very good horse too, you, Mattilla. I think Tommy Hughes might be kicking himself. He didn't have the horse in the Gadsden Stakes a little bit later on today. It's a feature event worth a couple of $100,000 in prize money. This race is worth a little bit less, but the horse is absolutely bolted in. And at the time it's run, Tim, 18.6 is enormously quick here at Flemington. Very fast time, so we could see anything run in the Gadsden a little bit later on, because collectively that field's the best I think I've seen, so it should be a real ripper.
Yeah, he did it superbly. Ran to the line very strongly.
Well, he ran to the line strongly, carried a lot of people's money all across the nation, so let's have a look at the tote dividends across Australia on race number 3. In Victoria, Hugh Mattilla, $2.20 for the win, 85 the place. 3-star video, 95 cents. 14 in the Bahamas, 95 cents. Quinella, $4.95. And the trifecta paid $45.30 on 1, 3 and 14. Correct weight is there.